Breast and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural, metaphysical, paranormal. You know, all those things you've been wondering about? Are you ready to go deeper into the realms of the unknown? I hope you've got your walking shoes on, because life is an adventure, and this is the journey. Come on, let's go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's the Journey Radio Show, and hey, we're showing up as the She Squatchers, as usual. I'm Jen Cruz, your host, and of course, I've got my trusty teammate, Tammy Trikel. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, everybody.
Yay! Jen, I can't join us tonight, but we have a super awesome guest. We've got Thomas Marcum joining us tonight. He's here to tell us all about his Bigfoot adventures, his Bigfoot experiences, and what he's found out in researching. So without further ado, let's welcome Thomas Marcum. Hey, Thomas, are you there?
I'm here. How are you guys doing?
We're great. We're great. I bet you're having much better weather than I'm having.
Well, today it was in the 50s, but now it's down into the 30s, and we're about to get 2 to 3 inches of snow. So we went from sunny to snow.
Okay, well.
I'm actually in Kentucky, southeastern Kentucky.
Yeah, they're saying there might actually be snow here tomorrow morning in Virginia Beach too.
Oh, wow.
I say no snow.
Well, I'm ready for spring, but the good part about here, if we do get snow, it don't last long. You know, a couple of days, it's melted off. So.
Well, I'm in Minnesota, and it was 20 below zero this morning.
Oh, yeah, shove your way out to the mailbox and back.
Right. Well, we don't have much snow right yet, but we're having a pretty good winter, actually, I think. It was the first really cold day. So we're good. So we want to get right back into our top. Oh, yes, Tammy.
Before we start, ask me how my kickboxing test went.
Oh, how did your kickboxing test go?
I am a yellow belt. I have the yellow shirt now. Ooh.
All right.
Awesome.
I just had to brag. 4 months worth of work
there. That's awesome.
Cobra Kai. I'm going to go on Cobra Kai, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
Actually, they are doing a casting call right now for season 4. So.
Ooh.
So maybe.
Maybe. Okay, carry on.
Okay. All right, Thomas, tell us, how did you get started in being interested in Bigfoot?
Well, I get that question quite often. It was kind of a progressive thing for me. When I was very young, probably, I don't know, around 10 years old, I saw some strange lights in the sky while I was out one evening. And so that kind of got me interested in UFOs. And as I got a little bit older, I heard my parents and grandparents and things talking about ghosts and weird stories and stuff like that. And so I kind of got interested in the paranormal, ghosts and things like that. So it's kind of a natural progression for me. And then I had my first Bigfoot experience when I was 16 years old. But at the time, I didn't understand really what it was. But, later on in life, I figured it out. But it was kind of just a natural progression for me. And one weird thing led to another weird thing. And then now I've got a whole life full of weird things.
That's kind of how it goes, really. When you start looking at something, more questions come about more things. Just a never-ending story of questions. Oh, wow. So tell us when you actually started looking, like, out in the field.
Well, I've been researching probably close to 30 years, but for many years I never shared anything. I just kind of did it on my own. I had a few websites that were actually gaming websites that I talked to other people that I game with about Bigfoot, but I never did really share any research publicly. And in fact, I really didn't realize that the Bigfoot community was so large and that there was such a big interest in it. But in the last, I probably started somewhere around 2011, 2010, actually sharing some of the stuff I'd found and discovered over the years and some of the stories that things I'd experienced and stuff like that. So probably the last, what would be about 10 years, I've really been more out there as far as sharing my work and what I do.
Very awesome. Very awesome. And I can't help but to notice that behind you, because although we're just being broadcast on the radio right now, behind, I can see him. Behind him is this amazing picture of some type of a stick structure. Can you tell us a little bit about that, but also describe what it looks like for the listeners?
Sure. Well, this is an area that I've been researching heavily since 2013. I call it Area 1 because it's probably my main area that I go to. And in this area, I've had many experiences, but this one here is probably the most recent structure that I found. And it's two very large forked sticks, branches, with another tree laying in it. And it kind of makes a long teepee type structure. And though at the peak, you're looking at something that's about 12 foot tall. And it's definitely not a wind damage or straight line winds or anything that's caused this. This is something that's been broken and placed like this. And of course, in this area, the ground is very hard, so I couldn't find any tracks, but I did document it. But about a year later, a windstorm did come through, and it blew a tree over on top of this structure and tore it all to pieces. So it's not really, part of it's still there, but it's not there like it was now. But in this particular area, I found well over 100 tracks, and I found numerous stick formations. I've had vocals, game cam picture from there, a lot of experiences in this area.
Very cool. So what do you think that these particular types of structures mean?
Well, I know one of the most popular structures that you'll find are the large X structures. I guess it's kind of open to interpretation on it, but from my understanding, the best I can figure on it is that when you got an X structure, on one side of the X is nothing but forest. On the opposite side of the X is usually some kind of danger, a roadway, a house, or something like that. And I found that over and over, several places. And as far as I know, you've probably seen the where they bend the trees over, tree bends.
Yes.
I've found some of those, and usually they're the bent part, the tip of it is pointing toward water most of the time. That's just kind of what I've pieced together over the years. That I can't say that's for sure what they all mean. They may not mean nothing to us, but they may mean something to the Bigfoot and Sasquatch guys. But that's what I've basically been able to figure out, kind of in my area, and it may be different in other areas.
The Native Americans up here in Minnesota area, in the days of old, they would bend trees when they were young, like into an L shape, and so that the tree was pointing at something of significance, whether that be a water source, a village, a trading area. But it was always like a signpost of go this way.
Well, makes sense.
Yeah, and to this day, you can still find some of those very old trees that are bent like that, which is pretty cool.
Now, in this one particular area here, where you see this picture behind me, I first got in there in 2013 after my father had a sighting. My dad never did believe in Bigfoot. In fact, he kind of made fun of me over the years because, I researched Bigfoot and believed in Bigfoot, and he kind of poked fun at me. So one day he come into the house and said, "Come out here, I want to talk to you." And I know he was having heart trouble at the time, so I thought, well, he's got bad news on his heart. He wants to kind of, let me know about it. And we got out on the porch, and he said, "I seen a Bigfoot." I said, "You seen a what?" He said, "I seen a Bigfoot." And I had him tell me, where it was at. And I said, "Well, why did you wait 5 days to tell me?" He said, "Well, to be honest, I was ashamed. I'd made fun of you for years, and then I actually seen one." And that's how I got into the area I'm actually in now. It crossed the road on him. The way the road was made, it came into a T formation, and you couldn't see to the right, so you had to kind of swing your vehicle out so you could look, make sure there wasn't no cars coming. And he swung to the right to look, and then swung back to the left, the direction he wanted to go, and he walked right across in front of him at about maybe 30 feet.
Wow.
And he was just barely moving. And I actually went over there where he showed me and found tracks on both sides of the road where it crossed and everything. And it crossed a 2-lane highway in like 3 steps, made it all the way off the road. And that area has been real good for me over the years as far as finding, tracks and stick formations. I've heard them speaking. I had someone follow me around one time, and I'm pretty sure it was mimicking what I was doing because I had the camera in my hand and I was narrating what I was finding. And then I could hear somebody talking behind me, but it was just far enough away I couldn't make out any words. And I was like, what's going on? But it had to be what it was. I mean, there wasn't nobody else around. So.
Did you get any of the talking on the recording?
No, I'd actually cut the camera off. And then when I cut the camera off, I was putting up a game camera, is what I was doing. And then I heard this talking while I was putting up the game camera. And I got kind of scared because I know there wasn't supposed to be nobody there. When I first heard it, I thought it might have been my dad coming to check on me because I'd been gone for a pretty good while. And so I did turn the camera on and, pan in there, but I couldn't see anything. And it was close. But there was these mountain laurels, they're kind of thick and real greeny. And so you couldn't see a whole lot. But I was scared and I put up the game camera. And then I left because I was kind of scared. And when I come home, my mom and dad and stuff they was gone. They wasn't even home. So there's nothing else. And I had them holler at me several times, a Bigfoot in there before, but never that close. That was really close. And I've had wood knocks and almost in the same area that was really, really close. But interesting place. When I got over in there, I found in one trackway, I found over 30 tracks in one trackway. And that one day I found probably, I'll say close to 100 tracks or more in that one day. And I actually made a casting of one of the tracks. It was in pine needles. And it was kind of, it wasn't a whole lot of definition, but it was very deep. And the track ended up being, if I remember, it was like 13 inches long and 7 inches wide at the ball of the foot. And at the time, with the backpack and everything, I was probably 320 pounds. And this thing was going twice as deep in the pine needles as I was. So I kind of estimated it at 600 pounds. But just a couple of weeks out of that, I actually got a game cam picture from the same area. So, and I went back and done measurements because of where the figure was standing, and it would have played out about 6'6", 6'7", and that's consistent with what the foot track would be. With a foot track, normally if you got like a 12-inch foot track, you're looking at something that's 6 foot tall. So you kind of take it in half, and that gives you you can convert it to feet. You kind of get, basic height of whatever the figure might be. Same with humans. So I'd say kind of fell into the right category as far as being the foot size with the height of the creature. I've not been lucky enough to actually catch it again on game camera, but I still try.
Do you have that photo from the game camera up anywhere that people can go to see it at?
Actually, it's on my Facebook profile. I've done a couple of YouTube videos on it, and it's actually featured in a couple of my real early films too. Because
so they can definitely go see that.
Yeah, definitely. I kept going back, and I've still at times I go back and try to do some kind of analysis on it, try to figure out more detail and what it was doing and that type of stuff. The picture was taken like at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and so I doubt anybody out in the morning walking through the woods in a Bigfoot suit at 3 o'clock in the morning.
So what is the names of those old shows that they can go look for? Are they on Amazon?
part two is. See, part one is no longer. You can buy the DVD on Amazon, but it's on a few other streaming sites too. It's I think of the name of it. Bigfoot Tracking a Legend was the original one. Very poorly done, but you work with what you got at the time. And the second one was Bigfoot Still Tracking a Legend, which is a little better quality, and that's where we do a little more analysis on the picture itself.
Okay, awesome. Well, then the listeners can check that out later if they would like to. Very cool, very cool. So the area that you're in Kentucky, is that like the Harlan area? Is that where you're at?
That's very close. I'm actually in Bell County, which is the adjoining county to Harlan. I
Okay.
can go up the road about 2 miles, and I'm in Harlan County. So
Okay.
I kind of filter back and forth with my research.
So this is like similar to the area where they've been researching this season in Expedition Bigfoot, right?
Oh yeah, that was actually real close. I'd actually been contacted by some individuals who were helping with the show, some of the guides,
Mm-hmm.
and was sort of trying to get me involved, but I really wasn't really interested in it. Uh, no producers or anything like that, as far as I know, ever talked to me, but I talked to several people that was helping on the show. One of them was a guide that was taking them to a cave. He had called me and talked to me and stuff. So,
Oh,
but
that's pretty cool.
I just wouldn't. I didn't really get an invite, but I was in an indirectly way asked to take part in it. So, but nobody officially ever talked to me.
Well, props for that anyway. Good job. So, when I watch the show and I see how many caves are in the area, I gotta wonder, do the Bigfoot researchers who are living and researching the area, do you go in those caves?
Well, yeah, sometimes. We have actually a lot of cave systems in this area. I know where one is. They actually covered it up several years ago. You had to rappel down into it, and it went for like 15 miles one direction that I know of. But inside of it was old Civil War artifacts. And years ago, when I was just a boy, some friends that we knew had actually went in these caves, and they got lost.
Oh,
And they was in there for like a week, but they ended up finding a little place and digging out, and they about starved out while they was in there. I'm sure they had water and things like that because usually there's water in caves. But they put a big rock over top of the entrance. But there's been Bigfoot activity in that area too. I had talked to a friend recently who they deer hunt in there quite a bit, and he wanted me to go in there with him, but we've not had a chance to actually get in there and look around. But that's on one of my to-do lists to go up in that area. But we have a lot of old coal mine in this area, and we have a lot of natural caves. Actually, there's a natural cave just across from my house here on the side of the mountain. I've never been to hit. Neither that side of the mountain's pretty snaky, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of snakes, so I don't go over in there a whole lot.
do you think that they live in the caves?
I would say so. I mean, in a cave, you've got the temperature stays consistent regardless. If it's summer, winter, whatever, your temperature's pretty consistent. They're hidden. They can travel who knows how far without being detected. So it would only make sense that they would.
That does make sense to me too. We don't really have caves up here where in Minnesota so much where the area where I'm going to. More closer to Duluth in the North Shore of Lake Superior, there's some caves that I've been in up there, but they're not like deep caves or anything like that. You can see the back end,
No.
and you can see also the fire stained, the smoke stained the walls and the ceiling in there from the years and years of when Native people would take shelter in there, and they even had some paintings on the walls in there. So I mean. But you have to wonder, over the years, how many different people and or Bigfoot have taken shelter in such places
Sure.
like that.
I know one place here locally used to be called Cudjoe's Cavern. Now it's called the Gap Cave, I think it's called, because the Cumberland Gap Park took it over. And you go in there and you can find where they took the old carbide lights and let the soot off of them go onto the ceiling and like write their name or the date. And it's back during the Civil War time, so it's kind of neat. And you can actually take a tour of that. You can call and they give you a tour through part of it. There's a whole lot of it you can't get into, of course, but it's pretty nice.
Very neat. I've taken tours of like Luray Caverns in Virginia and the Natural Bridge Caverns in Virginia. Those are really fascinating. And they go really deep. Like I think one we were almost 400 feet underground.
Are you talking about the
Just
Natural Bridge State Park?
yeah,
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 I've been there. Yeah, it's nice over there.
yeah. Just fascinating. Those large structures underground all cleared out like that.
You ever been up to the Devil's Bathtub?
No, I haven't. In
It's
Minnesota?
no, it's in Virginia.
Oh, Devil's Kettle is in Minnesota.
Okay, the Devil's Bathtub it's pretty good. It's a hard hike. You have to cross the creek several times because you'll get wet. And then there's one part you go through that if you fall off, you could, probably do you in. And somebody actually did fall off and die not too long after we went and done it. And it's a big old hole where the water runs. And I mean, my son and stuff jumped into it and they never touched the bottom. So the water's cold, but I liked it. It was enjoyable. We went on the 4th of July thinking that nobody would be there. Lord have mercy, there's people everywhere.
Oh
You remember
no.
where in Virginia that was?
Uh, Actually, no, I don't. It's just called. If you'll search the Devil's Bathtub, it's really a neat thing. I like to get back. Oh, we want to go back to it, but not on a holiday. So there's not so many people.
Right.
That sounds like fun. I saw Tammy writing it down. She's gonna go there,
You
guarantee
know
it.
it.
Yeah.
You know I
Well,
am.
well, we
I
took
saw her.
we took our car and you know how you use the GPS on it. It took us the wrong way. I looked at it on Google Map and I thought, well, this is where we'll turn at. So, but we was going by the phone and the GPS, and it took us the wrong way. We had to come back across the big old mountain. I don't know where it was at, but we finally found it.
No. How long ago was that? Maybe they've updated it
Uh,
by now.
Gosh, that's been a couple years ago.
Okay. Hopefully it's right now so Tammy finds it on the first try. But
Devil's
Tammy's
Bathtub.
gonna go
It's a
there.
good place.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like a fun time.
Oh,
You
we
know I'm
love it.
always up for a new adventure.
Yes,
There's a
she is.
there's a local waterfall. It's about I don't know. It's about an hour away. It's called Dog Slaughter Falls. I want to go to hit too, but we've not had a chance to the last couple of years. It's down next to Cumberland Falls. It's somewhere down around Corbin, Kentucky area. I'm wanting to go down to hit too, but maybe I'll get to this year.
That sounds like a good plan. Good plan. So have you ever had a encounter with Bigfoot face to face?
Not face to face, but probably when I heard the one speaking, it was probably, I'll say, 25 yards away from me, maybe closer.
Okay.
I've had them holler at me several times, and I've had them move close to me. I can hear them moving, and then I've seen a big one here. Probably it's been about 3 years ago, and I actually seen it from inside my house because we live back in the mountains, and it was big, and I wasn't expecting it, so I kind of froze. It was a snowy day. Just had a little light snow on the ground. And I thought, I'll just look out the window, see what's going on. And I looked across the road up into the mountains, and this Bigfoot steps in between two big trees. And I just kind of froze. I wasn't expecting it. It's like a mouse. If I got a mouse in the house, I can't hardly stand it. I get away. I get up on the chairs and everything. But if I'm in the mountains, I see a mouse, it's okay. It don't bother me. It's just
Well,
kind of weird.
that's
I wasn't expecting it.
oh, that's cute.
I
I think mice
respect
are
every
cute.
creature's right to exist outside of my home.
There you go.
I agree with that 100%. Spiders are sacred beings that belong outside.
Exactly. Don't like spiders either.
Go into your natural environment outside. people say, "Oh, but they eat the bugs. They keep the bathroom clean." And I'm like, I don't care. I just don't
Uh,
like the spiders sitting up there looking at me when I'm taking a shower, thinking about jumping on my head or something. Mm-mm.
that's the worst part about researching is spiders. I always run into spider webs and I get spider bit almost every time I go into the mountains. So that's the worst part.
Really?
Yeah, I've
I
been bit
suppose
by spiders so many times.
you have poisonous spiders down there.
Oh yeah, we do, but I don't know what kind these here are. But yeah, we do have poisonous spiders, rattlesnakes.
Those-
I also have some scorpions. Got a little bit of everything around here.
I didn't know you had scorpions in Kentucky.
Yeah, yeah. Some areas have got them. Yeah,
I did not know that.
sure do.
I
That's
Yeah.
thought those
right.
were like deserts.
No,
Yeah.
we got them here. They're smaller than what the ones you would normally see, probably in the desert. They're not as big, but yeah, we got them. Brown recluse spiders, we have those. So
Black widows.
black widows.
We have those two up here. That's about it, though.
But the for me, I guess the rattlesnakes and the copperheads and stuff is the ones I really don't like to run into, and I do run into them pretty often.
Oh no.
As long as
Jen
I
and I
see
were
them
just having
first.
conversations about snakes the other day. I found out all the poisonous snakes that they have here in Virginia.
Yeah, you guys got a bunch over there too.
Yep.
No, thank you. I'm sticking to my gardener snakes. They're pretty harmless.
Yeah, I got those around the house. The dogs get out of those.
Yes, yes. Very interesting. Nope, I like living where the cold hurts my face. Thanks.
Oh, Sherry says
Uh,
giant spiders are cute.
Oh,
She can have my part.
Right? You can have all my spiders.
Right.
oh my goodness. No, thank you. I don't want spiders in my house. I know that they probably live there as long as they stay out of my sight and stay away from me. I just have to share this before we go to break. I had gotten eyelash extensions and they were amazing. And I'm laying on the couch one night watching a movie, and all of a sudden I felt something scurry across my forehead and jump onto my eyelash. It was a spider. Thinking it was attacking and getting a meal.
Oh no.
I freaked out.
It didn't bite you, did it?
No, it didn't. It was trying to eat the bug that it thought my eyelash was, I guess.
Oh my
So yeah, no, it didn't bite me. Of course, I probably flipped it so far. I never did find the spider
goodness.
because I was like, yeah. So that was that. I have to plug in my laptop here because it says it's dying. So carry on, folks.
All right then.
We usually wait till the end of the show, but we have like 1 minute till we go to break time. So let's change it up a little bit. Thomas, can you tell people where they can find you after the show?
Well, you can find me on Facebook, of course, but you can also get me on my website, thecryptocrew.com. You can find me on my publishing website, zombiemediapublishing.com. I'm on about all the social media on Twitter and stuff like that. So once you get to any of those sites, you can link off of that and find me.
Very awesome. Very awesome. Well, we're going to go to our 2-minute commercial break and we'll be right back with Thomas Marcum. Stay tuned, everyone. What is that link that Kat shared?
Oh, it's a big spider on top of a toilet paper roll, and it says, "Where is your God now?"
That's
Ooh,
funny.
that's not what I want to. Oh, that just gives me the heebie-jeebies because I go to the bathroom at night with the lights off. I don't turn the lights on. That freaks me out now.
Don't like spiders.
No way. No way. Awesome. Well, when we come back from the break, what are some topics that you would like to talk about, Thomas?
Well, we could talk about my latest book or my latest movie. Do that.
Are they about Bigfoot?
Yep, sure.
Let's do it. Let's talk about both of those things. Promote it. Do it.
Yep.
And your publishing. I'm going to ask you about your publishing when we get on there.
Okay, you can
Sure.
start off, Tam. Go ahead and ask the questions. Sherry, she said she wants to play with those.
Oof.
Will we know when we're off a break?
Pretty soon.
Okay.
$30.
All right, 30 seconds. I was off. I thought it was closer than that. So I'll do a little dance. That's entertainment, I guess, during the commercial break. Not very entertaining. I get that. Okay, fine. Leave your comments below.
Go.
Don't fit your day job.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. This is the Journey Radio Show. And hey, we're the She Squatchers. Won't you check us out online at shesquatchers.com? And hey, you know what? We are on YouTube and Facebook under She Squatchers Official. Will you please come like our Facebook page and click subscribe on our YouTube channel and check out all the stuff that we upload there. And so tonight we have an awesome guest. We've got Thomas Marcum with us tonight. And I think Tammy had a question.
I do. I heard you say that you have Zombie Media Publishing. Exactly what do you publish?
We do books, movies, music. We've got films playing in over 70 different countries. Working on books now. There's actually I won't give the researcher's name away, but there's a book fixing to come out called Sasquatch Family Ties, which I'm actually putting together now for publishing for him. And it's kind of amazing. Some excellent footage in it. I mean, as far as pictures that he captured himself, and just an amazing story. But we don't just do Bigfoot stuff or cryptid stuff. We also, basically do anything. We got some companies in Indonesia, and we got some companies in the Philippines that we work with. That's turned out some pretty good films. It's kind of interesting, and some of them are slightly cryptid based. But we just do a lot of stuff, do a lot of merchandising and stuff like that, also to support the books and the films and the music.
Very good. And you also have a book coming out?
I actually had one come out a few months ago with my latest book called Understanding Bigfoot, Helpful Information and Answers to Common Questions. In the book, I answer over 20 common questions about Bigfoot, stuff we get. If you're in any Bigfoot group, you see it come up over and over and over. And I give my answer based on zoology, my almost 30 years of experience, and just personal accounts of where I've talked to people, and give a good logical answer to some of these questions that maybe some people haven't thought about. And I think it can help. It can help anybody who is interested in Bigfoot, whether you've been in it for a long time or you're just starting. I think it's a good read, not because I wrote it, but there's a lot of good information in it, I think, that people could kind of draw to and help them in their search for Bigfoot.
And where can they find this book?
It's on Amazon, it's at Barnes and Nobles. Sometimes you can find them on Walmart.com. You can order them from there, but any bookstore should be able to order it for you. And sometimes I actually sell them on Facebook. I'll sign them and sell them on Facebook. So I did some just before Christmas. With COVID, we didn't get to do any events really in the last year. So I would use Facebook and sell stuff that way because whether people realize it or not, there's some expense in actually doing research. Gas is not free. Cameras are not free. I have to buy a pair of boots almost every year because I wear them out. That stuff they don't give it to me. I have to sell stuff to buy those. So I use Facebook this past year to sell a lot of stuff. So and eBay and stuff like that.
Yes, it's not cheap. The cameras
Nope.
themselves can be thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And
I'm so far in the hole I'll never catch up. But I've got to offset it a little bit.
right, right. Exactly. Some of those cameras, I want them so bad. I got to hold one that was like a $5,000 night vision camera.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this was $5,000. Oh my gosh. So I want it.
I've got
Anybody
a
want to send it to me? You can send
I've
it to
got
me.
a
I'll send you the address.
I've got a Sony AX53, which is a 4K camera that also does night vision. It's pretty good. If you put a IR light with it, it's really good. And they're about $1,200-$1,400. So not too bad. It's a good
Yeah.
quality camera.
How deep in the woods can it go in the dark?
Well, if you got a IR light on it, which you can buy those fairly cheap, you can get some pretty good distance with it.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. I've got a monocular that records, but it doesn't do sound.
Mm.
And that does pretty good for pretty close up, and it makes the night look like the day. But then Jenna got a unocular, which can see far in the dark, making it look like the day. And that records sound, but then it actually broke. You can still see through it, but it won't record now. And she's having a heck of a time finding a place that can fix it. And
Well,
I
that's
think
the
it was
bad.
like a $600 camera.
So that's the bad part. That's what I worry about a lot of times when I take my cameras and stuff out. Well, if you fall or you drop the camera, you're just, $1,200-$1,400 camera, it's gone. And I ain't got the kind of money just to go buy another one.
Right, exactly. That's expensive stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What do you prefer looking in for Bigfoot out in the woods? Do you prefer daytime or nighttime?
I prefer daytime just because it's easier for me to find tracks. It's easier for me to find stick structures. With the nighttime, of course, you may hear something, but you have no idea what it is because it's nighttime. You can't really see unless like you say, you got some kind of night vision, or which most the common person not going to have anything that would be adequate for that. But I like the daytime just because I can see better. I do some night investigation, but I prefer daytime.
See, Sherry is asking what monocular night vision model do you recommend? Do you have a recommendation?
I don't. I'm not real familiar with the different brands. I use my Sony camera that's got night vision. I use it. I have got a goggle set thing but I don't really use it in the woods. It's more for around the house, I guess, if you want to fool around with it or ghost hunting or something like that. But I'd be afraid to walk around the woods.
I'll say, Sherry, I'm not at home right now. I'm actually helping take care of a friend who had surgery today, so I can't even open my pack and tell you what brand binocular that I have because it's not here with me. But perhaps I'll be able to tell you that next week. Okay.
There you go.
I can tell you I paid $179 for it online. So, yeah, it wasn't bad at all. But it doesn't record sound at all, but it does pretty good video. It really does. And it has different IR settings so you can make it brighter. So, yeah, I got invited to go on a ghost hunt to the cemetery on the edge of town. Right along that was a wood line. And I hadn't really looked at the area prior to going there. And as I'm standing out there on the edge of this wood line, I just got this feeling like, this would be like kind of a squatchy spot back there. And I just got the feeling like this would maybe be a spot. And I said, is the river back here? And they said, yeah, it's back there ways. And I'm like, yeah, I bet you, that could be a squatchy spot. Well, then I suppose it was 2 months later, I got a report of somebody night fishing back there in the river. And something was throwing big rocks at them and hitting them in the water. And then something was hooting and hollering, doing the whoops and stuff. So pretty sure they're back there at some times of the year. I think that they probably travel up and down the river.
Well, now here in our area, we got some cemeteries that's really in the middle of the forest. So, and I have found Bigfoot tracks around some of those because they're actually you go way back in the mountain. It's right in the middle of the woods. There's no houses really around. So good area sometime. You never just because it's a cemetery don't mean Bigfoot don't cross through it every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I think the whole purpose of me telling you about that cemetery was that I had my monocular there, and it made that cemetery look like the day.
It's good.
It really lit it up like the day. So they work pretty good. They work pretty good. I will say that it's a monocular though, so you're looking at it through one eye, and it hurts your eye that you're looking through.
Like gives
Really
you
bad.
flash burn in your eye.
Yeah, yeah. So when we use that in the dark, just one of us will use that, and the other one will keep their eyes clean or clear, from
Right.
because after you look through that, you can't see anything. So, so yeah. So you've got the book. What else is going on?
Well, I just released a movie back about 2 months ago called Bigfoot: The Legend Is Real, which is doing quite well. It's been picked up by a lot of services. Tubi TV. It's actually on Tubi TV. If you've not seen it, it's on Vuzel TV and Amazon, of course. Several others. Real good film. I think it's probably the best film I've made overall as far as technical wise, because I had better equipment. This past year, I was able to actually buy a 4K drone, and so I got to shoot my own drone footage a lot of times, which always makes the film better. We had some real good witnesses in it that had never told their story on camera or publicly, which turned out good. And we actually have some actual Bigfoot footage out of Canada that we use in the film. That's it's very impressive.
Oh, what is it called again?
Bigfoot: The Legend Is Real.
Okay, Bigfoot: The Legend Is Real. I'm gonna have to go check that out. So should everybody else. For sure, go check that out, everybody. So what's next for you? Anything exciting coming up?
Well, I'm actually working slowly on season 3 of Almost Live. It's going to be called Bigfoot and Beyond. It's a little series I do. It's on Amazon and a few other places. I think Vivid Space has it and stuff like that's got it. I got to try. I'm gonna try to get it out this year. I'm working on Bigfoot Witness 2, the Jason Morris story. I'm hoping to get it out sometime this year, which is it's got some good photographic evidence in it, and it's a real good story. And it took place in New Hampshire. This when he actually had these encounters. So that's 2 of the projects I'm working on, and then I got a few other things on the back burner that's been there for a while. Some stuff I stay so busy. Some stuff it just gets pushed to the back, and I have to work on it just slowly, slowly. Oh, one thing I have got coming out that I really want to talk about a little bit was I've got a Bigfoot activity and coloring book I'm going to try to get out this year. I've actually got a lot of it already done. It's just a matter of putting it together and actually getting it, published out. So, but like I say, I've been very busy, doctor's appointments, and just a lot going on.
Well, that sounds exciting. Let us know if you want the She Squatchers in your coloring book.
Sure. Sure. Well, there's not a whole lot of stuff out there that's maybe that type of thing, or where you can color, you can do crosswords and stuff. It's all cryptid related. So I thought it's kind of a neat idea. We've got several artists on board that's taking part in it, and one of them is Michael Payton. He actually done the cover for my book, Understanding Bigfoot, and so it kind of gives you an idea of his style. If you look at the cover of that, how he draws. All artists have their own style they like to do, and their own vision of things. So we're glad to have him on board for that, and then we got a couple other artists that's real good too. So that's kind of a project I'm really looking forward to completing. And I also wanted to do a cartoon. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but as being a filmmaker, I've always wanted to do a cartoon, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. But that's one of my on my bucket list, I guess.
Is it going to be like a one-time cartoon, or you're trying to do a weekly cartoon?
Probably just a one-time type thing, 30-minute, 45-minute cartoon of some sort. That's kind of on my bucket list. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's kind of something I'd like to do. I'd like to try someday.
I think that'd be cute.
I think how South Park started is they had little cutouts that they would position and like do shot, and then they'd move them a little bit, and then they'd do another shot.
Yeah.
And that's how they did it at first. And then was it Robot Chicken that they were using little action figures that they were.
Yeah, used to stop motion animation. When I was younger, I would play around with stop motion animation a little bit. You had the old VHS, and you could go, take a picture and stop it and take a picture. And I'd do fool around with it some, but I haven't tried it with digital yet. It might be kind of something interesting to do.
That might be fun, for sure. For sure. I know they have such amazing programs now that can animate, drawings and whatnot. That would be, that's way beyond my pay grade. I can barely edit a video.
Well, you get into that animation, it takes hours. You take something like the free software Blender, which you can make very realistic looking 3D renders of, but it takes hours and hours and lots of skill to do it, and I don't have it, so.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
My 9-year-old can edit videos better than I can, so.
I'm getting better. I've been doing it for a while. I'm getting better, I think.
She's really good. She makes little clips and stuff for TikTok and things like that. She does a really good job.
Yeah, I recently got on TikTok too. I'd never fooled with TikTok, but a buddy of mine was doing some stuff on there. And so I got on there, and I've got a few videos on there. I do a little stupid thing. I call him the vaccine guy, and he's just giving updates on because he's took the vaccine, and it changes his hair color, and he can smell better, and this is kind of little silly things. People kind of like it, so I've been doing it a little bit along.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. I gotta wonder if Bigfoot's this is a question I like to ask. What do you think Bigfoot is?
Well, I like to just drop it under the heading of a primate. Us humans, of course, are primates. So I think if I had to narrow it down, I'd say they're closer related to humans, but maybe like a subhuman, something just slightly below us, because the intelligence level is, it's very comparable to humans, because I know they have speech, and we know they can survive in harsh conditions, and as far as we know, they don't make fire. So, they got to be pretty intelligent to be able to eat and survive winter and stuff like that, and for years go undetected. So there's something, just a subhuman, an ancient human maybe, that's been here probably longer than we have. I don't think it's a missing link, because I'm not in it. I don't think it's Gigantopithecus. I don't think that's that neither. I don't even, my personal opinion of Gigantopithecus, I don't think we have actually enough evidence on Gigantopithecus to say that it's really anything that's been in North America. All we have is a few bone fragments and then one jawbone, and most of that comes from Vietnam area. We don't really have a whole lot on it, in my opinion. So
right.
to equate it to Bigfoot being a descendant of that, well, maybe it is, but I ain't seen enough evidence of that.
So how do you feel about the law that they're trying to pass in Oklahoma, letting people hunt Bigfoot?
Well, I don't like it, and I think it's probably more of a stunt than it is anything. Would a person go hunt Bigfoot? There are probably some that would. Would they be successful? Probably not. How many people is actually that would go out and hunt and actually shoot one or find one, or would have the fortitude to track for hours and hours and hours in rough areas? I think it's mostly a stunt what the guy's doing, but I don't think they should be killed, unless it's if it comes down to me or them, it might be different. But
Right.
I don't see hunting one. That's not me.
My issue with it is, and all the evidence that they have of Bigfoot, so many of it has been thrown out because it has been contaminated with human DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then if, let's just say that Bigfoot has human DNA, then they are okaying murder.
Exactly.
That's my problem with it.
Hmm. I agree with you. Well, we know that chimpanzees and things like that, their DNA is very comparable to our DNA. It's very close. Just a few percentage points different. So I would say these are probably even closer. So to me, I got a friend who seen a Bigfoot when he was about 8 year old, and when he was hunting with some of his family, and he didn't know what it was. All he could describe it as was a naked, hairy man. So that kind of tells you what they are. They're just a hairy like people, really. So I wouldn't want to go
That
shoot
makes
one.
sense. Definitely not. I just can't imagine. But I've heard stories of people who have shot them and killed them, and then the government came and took them.
Sure. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, I honestly, I've done some research into that, and I've talked to some people who in some ways, really, they work kind of for the government, being a scout to find and locate Bigfoot, and the government takes them out. I've seen a lot of evidence of that, and talked to a lot of people on and off the record, that what started out as they would take a problem Bigfoot, one that was maybe too close to a home, or damaging property, or something like that, and they would kill it. But that kind of grew, and now they're actually, from all intents and purposes, they're hunting them down and killing them. Why, I don't know, but it seems to be happening from the people that I've
Where?
talked to, all
Where?
over, all over, all over.
And
One guy lived out in Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken, and he was one of the people that would actually hunt these, and he had killed several of them over his time of doing that. I actually interviewed him, and we didn't release the interview. There were some details in it that would probably caused him some trouble, because he talked about stuff that he probably wasn't supposed to talk about. But they said the first ones that he actually took out was there was one around the home that was harassing a woman that lived in the home, and I think the male Bigfoot was real aggressive in a sexual type manner toward the woman, and so they had to go in and had it killed, took it out. So there's evidence there that the government actually knows about Bigfoot, and in some ways are taking them out. They're killing them.
well, that's fascinating information. Have you ever heard accounts of women being assaulted in a sexual way by Bigfoot?
Well, I've took several reports in of very aggressive behavior around females, especially if a woman's on her monthly cycle, or certain perfumes, or using pheromones. That seems to, I know one person in particular, they went Sasquatching, and she thought she would add on some extra pheromones to try to, get some kind of reaction. And she did get a reaction. And her and I think she was with two or three other people, they were actually chased out of the woods by what would appear to be a large number of Bigfoot. And they followed them all the way down the holler and back and forth and stuff. And it was a pretty scary thing for them. And these are people I know, and I've known for years.
Mm-hmm. Well,
So
that would be.
You have to take precaution with that type of thing, because just Bigfoot is kind of like a human. Sometimes humans are unpredictable. Sometimes humans are aggressive. Sometimes they're shy. Sometimes they're not. They have good days. They have bad days, just like me or you. Sometimes when you're hungry, you'll do whatever it takes to get food. Sex drive is one of the most driving forces there is. It even rates above hunger as a driving force. So you get something in a bad way, they could hurt you.
That's true. They could. They could. Sherry's in the chat room asking, are women more attractive than men to male Bigfoot?
I guess that would depend on the Bigfoot. I don't know. I
Mike,
don't know about that.
Okay.
It takes all kinds.
Yeah.
If I was a male Bigfoot, I would be more attracted to a female, I believe, than I would a male.
All right.
Well, if
And
you think
Kat
about it,
says,
though, if you think
go
about it,
ahead.
though, women seem like they are more emotionally involved in relationships and feelings for other people. So that could be a factor that women are more understanding. Women are more emotional than say a man would be a researcher. Where a woman would want to maybe connect more and find out uh, the, the emotional state of a Bigfoot, where a man just wants to see it and wants to track it, wants to hunt it, more of a macho type thing than where a woman would want to make a connection. So it could play a part in it.
Very good point. Very good point. Kat in the chat room says, if the government has been and still is killing them and taking them to study, I have to think they're keeping it secret because they know that Bigfoots are intelligent beings.
Yep. This one person that I know, he's been working. I guess it's an army type outfit, because he goes and scouts the area, finds out where they're at, and radios back. And said a lot of times by the time he gets out of the area, the military's already there setting up tents, full fatigues, full weaponry, and they're going in. He says he don't ask what they're doing, and they don't tell him. He just goes and scouts locations, and he's been doing that for a little while too.
That's kind of scary.
And
I've
sad.
heard stories about people being out camping and having experiences with Bigfoot and telling the park rangers, and then next thing you know, they're coming in with helicopters and
Yep.
whatnot. So I believe that.
I definitely know the government knows about them. It's impossible for them not to. You think about the satellite systems they have now. I mean, they say they can see right through your walls of your house. So how could they not know what's in the forest? It's just impossible for them not to know.
Unless they don't want to know. They just don't want to admit what they know. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Probably the inner core knows.
So, do you think there's any connection between Bigfoot and aliens?
Well, I've been asked that question before, and I've never seen a direct connection. My thought on that is that maybe Bigfoot and UFOs are attracted to the same area. Maybe it's due to ley lines or some kind of mineral deposit that's in the area, or something that has to do with the land. Maybe they're both attracted to certain areas, and that's why sometimes you get reports of both activity in the same area. But as far as Bigfoot coming out of a UFO, I've never seen it, and I highly doubt it that they're connected in that sense. And then you think about maybe UFOs monitor humans, or seem to. Maybe they also monitor Bigfoot. So it's just too many questions, we don't have an answer for at this time.
Very good answer. Good answer. Good answer. Well, we are coming to the end of the show. I want to make sure that you're able to give people the information to find your books and your videos. Can you please tell them how to find you?
Well, if you go to Amazon and just type my name in, Thomas Marcum, most of my films and books will come up. If not, you can go to thecryptocrew.com, and all of our social media links are on there. You can click on the team page and you'll find my Facebook page and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty easy to find, but everything I do is public. I don't have really any private accounts. I just let everything be public.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you right here next week. Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.